Hello. Oh, I knew I forgot to do something. Dang it. Hello, everybody. Give me 1 second. I gotta fix this. Hello, Kia. Hello, Aaron. I don't know where everyone else is. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Much better. Hello, 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 hello. Must be running amok. Must be. Must be. Or they're all sleeping in. Who knows? It's fine. It's all good. I interviewed the captain last night, Kia. Today's the last day of spring break here. Yeah, I did. It went well. Went well. He's a cool dude. I think he could have talked for like 3 hours straight if I'd let him. Chelsea's spring break was last month. Yeah. Hey, Linda. Yeah, I he joked about it, but I asked him like just to give a little bit about himself and why he ran, and he went 23 minutes. That is the most anyone has ever gone on question 1. Yeah. What's up, Philip? How you doing, friend? So, I watched a Caroline Levitt press conference, her talking about how people are just going through, you know, so many ships are going through the Strait now, and I just wanted to be like, you can look up how many have gone through, right? Like there's actually a website that's only purpose is to look up to keep track of how many ships have gone through the Strait. Your hopefully new representative went and argued against Texas's new history lessons at the TEA the other day. Ooh, nice. Kia is Aaron? Did I say Aaron? Oh, yeah. Zelly is Aaron. Kia is Kia. Yes. Sorry. Hey, Kat. I did say Aaron. You're right. I did. Oh, you mean Layla? Yeah, that's Layla. Thoughts on Melania's speech? I found a little weird. It was very weird. It's very weird. Also found it to be a complete and utter bullshit, but you know, there's that too. Yep, just brought it back to the spotlight. I strongly disagree with her saying that we should bring the people, the actual people that suffered under all this out and have them speak again. It's like we have the we have the Epstein files. That's all we need. Release them all. It really did just bring it back to the spotlight. I don't think she's gotten ahead of anything, but you know, hey, meme. Like I said, I think it just put a huge ass spotlight. I mean, they've technically already all testified, haven't they? Like during the investigation, they've already talked. It's all there, right? I'm not losing my mind. Not only did she bring it back to the spotlight, it's bringing pictures with it. Yeah. Oh, we knew Blanche was going to say it was all done. Hey, Laura. I'm glad it's the weekend coming up. Like, I'm glad it's Friday and we got the weekend coming because I think a lot of us need. I don't know when it's going to come out, but do you guys remember my interview with Jasmine Thomas? She's running for senator in Oklahoma. She just had her TikTok banned for being political, even though it's her political TikTok, like it's her campaign's TikTok page. I'm going to be interviewing her today to talk about it and try and get more of a spotlight on it. So hopefully we can get it back. So keep an eye out for that. I don't know if it's coming out tomorrow or Monday, not sure which, but bringing it back to the spotlight gets it out from under the war rubble as a topic of discussion. But it doesn't. Maybe they think it does, but it sure doesn't. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they think it does, but hey, Angel. Morning, Shawnee. So yeah, you'll be seeing that come out soon because we want to get a light on it. And so any help. Hey, Maureen. But yeah, I'm kind of feeling like because I was watching a Tucker Carlson thing, him talking about Trump not putting his hand on the Bible. Yeah, I saw that. I don't think Tucker Carlson's getting it at all. I think Tucker Carlson is following. I mean, Tucker Carlson is just a rage baiter. In the first place. He just does it with this idea that things are logical. Morning, Jeremiah. Tucker Carlson knows exactly what he's doing. He goes and he interviews Putin and talks about how great Russia is and then turns around and pretends that he cares. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. I appreciate, and again, I appreciate him pointing out bullshit when it happens, just like I'd appreciate anybody pointing out bullshit. Like, thank you for doing it. But as long as we all remember that he is still an utter piece of poop, we can point out when he does, when the clock is right, twice a day. Especially when Tucker is one of the reasons that is probably one of the people that helped him win in the first place. That's why I feel the same way about all those bro podcasts where they're like, oh, like act so surprised that he did what he did. And it's like, what planet are you on that is just surprising? He just wants clicks and views. Absolutely does. Yep. You're loving the whole eating each other from the inside thing he's doing. Oh, absolutely. Definitely enjoying that. Definitely enjoying that. They can chew each other up and spit each other out for, you know, as much as they want. Be my guest. Be my guest. Wish they would have done that before 24. Maybe he wouldn't have gotten elected. Well, there's a lot of things I wish happened before 24 that could have stopped him from getting elected. And unfortunately, Tucker Carlson supporting him, or all the bros supporting him, is not quite as low. Or is not quite as high as, like, I don't know, him getting actually, like, convicted in Congress. That's the big one. Morning, Silver. How you doing, my friend? The biggest blame I will always have for him becoming president a second time is the people that voted against convicting him in the Senate. Waiting to see what's about to drop with the files. I don't think anything's going to drop. I mean, maybe, but I don't think anything will. Why else would Melania do what she did? So many possible reasons. Good morning, James. A book was released yesterday. Oh, really? I'm over these Democrat politicians calling for the 25th Amendment. It's a freaking ploy. I mean, they can call for it. They can push for it. Do it. I'm all for it. Push for it. Really push for it. Go for it. Try and impeach too. Like, just do it. Just don't, as that's all. You're talking about Piker? Talking about Hassan? What are my thoughts on it? On him? What do you think about the national exposure? You know, centrist Democrats did it to themselves. There were Republicans calling for the 25th too. When you have the lowest poll numbers of any founding first lady, you've got to do something. But yeah, I don't have any. I mean, I've never been a massive fan of Hassan Piker. But yeah, JD has to file in writing. But I've not had any specific issue with anything. He has been willing to talk to people, but he also says what he believes. I have no issue with that. I don't know. I think centrists are freaking out by the direction that the party is going. Barron is definitely a Trump. Barron is definitely a Trump. That is true. What did he say now? He hasn't said anything new since people are just getting on him for being at the Al Said rallies and stuff. Calling him an anti-Semite. Oh, I'm sure it's not going over well with the DNC, Aaron. Newsmax brought up the 9/11 quote about how we caused it to ourselves. And you know what? If you actually look at what we've done, I don't know enough to make a statement, like a specific statement about it, but we haven't actually done a lot of good things over in the Middle East, so they have no reason to like us. Morning, Garpu. Not against any Jewish people, but is in favor of us. Yeah. I do not know what Hassan's ancestry is. I mean, the man went to the DNC like convention. The man has been fully supportive. He voted for Kamala Harris. He will most likely vote for every Democrat in who's running. No matter what he says. Hassan is Turkish. I commented earlier, Barron was born before Melania was a citizen, so he'd fall under Trump's birthright issues. Ooh, interesting. I mean, as long as all of those ultra, far right people are in power in government, like it's not just Bibi, it's all of them. Yeah, that's what DDC said. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not big enough to get him. The Mr. Al Said. Al Said. I can never say it. Hey, Rosa. Good morning. I don't want Iran to get a nuke. I completely understand why they want one. I don't think we have the right to keep them from it when we allowed everyone around them to have them. Yep. I don't think that's a hot take at all, Garpu. It's a unfortunately impossible take because I don't know how you'd actually enforce it, but it's definitely it's definitely not a hot one. We have one everyone should in the event we become the bad guy. Oh wait, we already are. Mm-hmm. We ignored Israel stealing our plans, building nukes. Oh yeah. People don't understand that there's a reason nobody is using them right now because they know there are enough other ones out there that they would be completely wiped off the face of the planet. Like, that is why nuclear war will not happen, because there are enough in enough different areas that you could not stop the complete destruction of your society if you did that. It is mutually assured destruction. Yes. Fun fact, all the nukes we dismantled are waiting in an underground bunker in Texas and can be reassembled in moments. Great. Have y'all seen the video by the lawyer who's giving vague advice in case anyone does it? No, I haven't. Good morning, Akicha. Hey, Prairie. Mm-hmm. So it lasts forever. Lasts a long time, as unfortunately Ukraine has learned all too well. Said with dripping sarcasm. That's 704 million years for anyone who wants to know. Oh, that's it? That's like no time at all, Silver. that's like no time at all. One grain of sand in an hourglass of time. I don't know. I don't know, Garbu. Ever? I believe that they will get fully released at some point. When is a big question. During this president's administration, almost definitely not. Knew that wasn't going to happen the moment he promised it. I'm still going to call for them to be released, though. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they shouldn't be released just because I think this administration is corrupt as hell and won't release it. And I think we need to stop pretending that just because we don't think it will get released, that we should just stop talking about it or something. That's the reason nothing happens these days. Yes, please. The faster we can get to 10K, the more people we can get to join. Good morning. Gonna be all right someday. I agree. It's gonna be all right someday. 100% agree. Question is how long? That's the real question. Will it be in our lifetime? Do I agree it could take decades for the US to be trusted again? Yes. Absolutely yes. Yep. It's all about now. Today is a great day. For who? Who is today a great day for? Right now. You won't get the files. People that choose to believe it's a great day. Oh, okay. How do you think I'm selling out my own people and country? That's a really wild statement. Oh, never mind. Makes me sad as I am from a former US Navy base site, one in Scotland, and have lots of ties to US. Understandable. Hey, Flamingo. So, Pete, you're saying that for people that are literally unable to pay for food or housing because of the decisions that this administration made, they should just decide it's a good day? Or the people that are living under the threat of being bombed every day should just think it's a good day? Like, look, I'm all for finding joy, but to just say it's a good day. Our space, I don't know who you are. I don't bring up people I don't know. You sit here and talk just like you're doing right now. How do you think all the people that do come up got to know me so they can come up? You have a voice? You do have a voice, but it's not one that comes up on this channel until I get to know you better. Scared? Uh-huh. Okay. Every day we wake up is a good day. There's always a shitstorm mindset of choice. Interesting. Anyone who says Mike's scared should see the agreements the brothers get up to over Christmas. Yeah. Seems to not let people up. This is my channel. I don't have to let you speak. This app gives me the right to not let you speak if I don't want to. You have fear. So do you. Typical. What's typical? To point out the realities of things? Man, there's a lot of people in their own feelings today. That tiny D energy is strong this morning. Woo! Woo! Bring it. Bring that tiny D energy, guys. Work my mod's fingers. Pew, 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 pew. I'm finding it hard to understand how so many Americans can be fooled so easily. I mean, Lindy, let's be fair. History of the world is fraught with people being fooled pretty easily. I'd like to say this is an odd thing, especially here. What's my name? Mike. What's your name? Simple solutions to complex problems. That's not always true. The world is not simple. The world is nuanced. I don't debate on this channel, Johnny. I love it. Keep bringing them in. All of these emotional, guys, we're at 200 people in here and only at 2,000 taps. Why are you sad? I'm not sad. It doesn't take much money for a man to become spineless. A weird statement. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Good morning, Carrie. I mean, Hitler thought it would be a good idea to have his army fight Russians in Russia during the winter. There's always and will always be idiots. That's true. First coffee, then taps. It's called priorities. That's fair, Heath. That's fair. I mean, there's 151 people in here. If all y'all just did just a couple hundred, it would pop it up really fast. Inflation rate is up 0.9% this morning. Does hot chocolate count as breakfast? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I saw you. I saw you, Locomotive. I saw it. Yep. What's up, Unionize? Good morning, Jenny. Very interesting. Well, I'm glad you find it interesting. Need some cookies, though? Oh, cookies would be good. It's a little early for cookies, but, you know, cookies are cookies. Not much same old, same old? Yep, I feel you. Oh, Charles, that. I feel that tiny D right now, Charles. I feel that tiny D right now. Oh, it's like coming. I feel it. Guys, do y'all feel the tiny D coming from Charles right now? I feel the tiny D coming from Charles right now. Correct, chick. People running the White House when Joe Biden was president weren't incompetent. Exactly. You're right. Oh, no, you're good, Gia. I loved it. It was great. I felt it. I felt the tiny D energy just radiating off the comment. Too tiny to feel. I'm just tired. I feel that. What kind of coffee are people having this morning? What's the coffee? What's the coffee of choice? I got some Pete's breakfast blend or whatever. Red Bull? There you go. Red Bull coffee. Vanilla bean. Costco house brand. Hey, you know. Can't afford coffee. Oof. Maxwell House. Veranda blend. Seattle's best. Folgers. Hub blend. Okay. Cuban espresso sounds amazing. Yeah. Sumatra. Hills Cross original. Bros original. Gotcha. Folgers for you. Hey, you know, whatever gets you the boost you need, right? Duncan. What's up, Summer? Good morning. Tom Thumb signature French roast black. Need a big fat breakfast burrito? Do it. Do it. Live your best life. What do you think Melania was doing with that speech? What do I think she was doing? Not a clue. But that's what I feel about pretty much everybody in this administration or related to this administration. I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. I think they're throwing stuff up against the wall and seeing what sticks. I honestly believe that. I believe that they are running around like chickens with their head cut off. They're throwing stuff against the wall and hoping something sticks. I think she was trying to get ahead of any major upcoming news from the files. We'll see. Do they all throw the ketchup against the wall? Probably. They kind of throw everything against the wall. What's your hat mean? It's a Good Mythical Morning. It's a YouTube channel. War to distract from... Yeah. Seriously, Willie. I think she's trying to appear likable. That may be true too. You never know. You never know. Your daughter called it? Heck yeah. We'll tell your daughter she's got good taste. The book coming out of England. Oh. Getting out ahead of a tweet from an associate of hers from 20 years ago. Good morning, Alejandra. Hey, James. What Melania did was bring the Epstein files back into the conversation. It's true. It's true. So most of the night, last night, holding my kiddo. Teenage years are so hard. They are hard. They are hard. Them going through trying to figure out who they are is hard on them and the family. Yeah, but they're not, Willie, because you know what's still going to go up is the price of our gas. I read a report saying that physical prices are $50 a barrel more than futures. So don't expect your gas prices to go down very much if they're spending $150 a barrel. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. Oh, I know, Rosa. I've read some responses from the victims uh in response to her statement. What was her point? Again, I don't know. I don't know what the point of anything. Companies needed $60 a barrel. Yeah, but even at this price, so it all depends on why things are the way they are, Weezer. So yeah, it needed to be $60 a barrel to make a profit before all of this. They're still not going to build because the reason that it went up is not organic. War is not a reason to start building. They've already said that they're not going to build. It's never going to go down at these rates. I mean, it's not going to go down. It's not going to go down below like 80, 85 a barrel for 3 to 4 years because of the damage done, especially now that Iran hit the East-West pipeline. So they cut another 1.2 million barrels a day coming from the Middle East. I mean, it could be 5. It all depends on what gets damaged and how long. Yep. They hit the pipeline. If ever. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of things that could come from this. You could end up seeing more renewables happen because of all of this, which could keep prices up, but hopefully would make it so less people rely on it as much, which could bring it back down. There's a lot of things. Sounds like everyone they're not buying oil from the US spacebar. You obviously don't understand how the oil market works. The US doesn't own the oil. Companies own the oil. Oil is a global commodity. No kidding. Well, they're not buying from the US. They're buying from a company. We're not gaining anything from it. All that's going to do is cause prices to go up farther. Because when the supply is less, but the demand goes up, prices continue to go up. What pipeline was hit? The East-West pipeline in Saudi Arabia. Aw, fishing. How's that tiny D energy? Three to 4 years if nothing goes wrong, which means longer because something always goes wrong. True. That's true, Aaron. That is true. Well, I haven't been live for 30 minutes, so there is no way you gave my live 30 minutes of your time this morning. When did we become an airport? I don't know. Why do you think Melania gave her speech? I mean, it sounds like she was trying to get ahead of something. I know a lot of people are saying she's trying to get ahead of some things that are coming. So, no need to announce your departure. Seriously. You think it's because DT is getting old and sick, so now she's just clearing her name? It wouldn't surprise me. Yes, Mr. Global does a very good job explaining oil markets. Yep. Hey, if they want to help my my algo by announcing their departure, go for it. Who am I to complain that they announced that they let me know that I don't have to, that I can be happy that they're not here anymore? I think they think I care. That's the funny thing. Also, gas is made by blending different oils together. We don't supply all of the types. Truth. Afton Bain lost, by the way. Okay. Afton Bain isn't running for anything right now. You all right? You understand that it's April 10th, 2026, right? You know that. You know that, right? No, I do not believe he didn't know about the speech. Hey, Wendy. Do you think it's weird that she said all that and then her buddy posts that video? No, I don't think it's weird. That is definitely probably part of why she did it. I think the victims will not testify to protect themselves. Yep. Bane also lost in Batman. They know that, right? Maybe. I don't know. Lucifern. I don't know. The pronouncements by the rats leaving the sinking ship are only damage control. Yeah. Kind of scared for her now. I was born in darkness, molded by it. You merely... Wait.
I was born in darkness, molded by it. You merely adapted to it.
There you go. That was... I need less.
Wait. I was born in darkness, molded by it. You merely adapted to it. There you go.
We can supply all the gasoline we need. It's diesel we need heavy for. We don't supply anything. Gasoline is a global commodity. We don't benefit. I don't understand why you can't understand that. What Melania didn't say was that her husband wasn't. That's true. That's true, DDC. I filled up yesterday. I paid double to fill up than before. Yep. I don't know why they need to testify in Congress. They've already talked to people. What do you think was in the investigations that are in the files? Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you. I'm hungry, but my hubs is off, and I'm trying to wait for him to come come make food. You know, high performance, Florida. I wish I were surprised at what Florida was doing. It's gonna it. There's gonna be a lot of big changes in this country coming from what conservatives are doing. We don't produce anything. Oil companies produce it. Oil is a domestically is a globally priced commodity. It doesn't matter what we produce. It gets sent globally. And when the demand goes up, the price goes up. It does not matter. They aren't producing sufficient for needs for our gasoline. They are producing gasoline, and it goes out to wherever needs gasoline, including the United States. What is Florida doing now? I can't say. I can't use the words because of TikTok, and I don't know how to say it in a different way. The irony is that if Melania wanted justice for the victim, she could just ask her husband, the president, to release everything. He is literally the only one who can. Yep. Yeah. I would not want to be someone who owns a truck right now. That is the one positive of us having one car and it being like a Civic. JD Vance is currently on his way to negotiate a deal in Iran. Oh boy. What could go wrong with that? It's Miata season though. There you go. Mr. Eyeliner himself. Yep. But the price of it is global. The price you pay is still based on global cost. It doesn't matter. It could come from next door. And that doesn't change where the cost comes from. If you're paying, if the physical cost is $130, $150 a barrel, that's still making the cost a high cost. Could it be lower for you because it doesn't have to travel as far to get to your station? Sure. But it's not going to be that much lower. Summer blend prices are about to hit too. Yep. Your cost is under 4. Okay. You think under 4 is good? Most of the country is not paying under 4. So you're saying because it's okay for you that everything's fine? You understand there's 300 million people in this country. Is all that matters you? Yeah, I saw that. They're talking about bumping up the ethanol content from 10 to 15. What's the over-under? Oh, gosh. I would say there's a 4-in-1 chance that it gets worse with Vance there. I mean, I live in an area that it's under $4 a gallon. So what? It's not all about me. That's the point. It's not all about me. It's not all about you. It's about all of us. In a society that has been built around having to drive anywhere and prices are already tight, anywhere around $4 a gallon is going to destroy a lot of people. They'll find any way to justify. It's true. It's true. Yeah. I pay less. The meaning. I misconstrued the meaning of your comment. Okay. Well, then clarify. What is the meaning of your comment? All right, Linda. AI robots teaching kids. She tried to pretend that she had no she was not associates with Mr. E himself. Basically tried to distance herself. Community people can come up. I agree. It's going to get bad, real bad.
Is the Intercept a okay source?
Hmm?
Is the Intercept the news thing called the Intercept? Is that like a good source? Like this thing just dropped on my phone, and I'm just like, whoa. Talking about they just gave Reddit. They're trying to do a grand jury requiring Reddit to come, and they're trying to make them give up the identity of somebody who's been saying anti-cube stuff on Reddit, and the administration wants to know who it is, and they've been trying to figure it out for a month, and Reddit's like, no, that's protected by First Amendment, but now they're trying to.
Intercept is a non-profit adversarial news outlet launched in 2014, known for investigative journalism with a strong left-wing anti-establishment bias. While regarded as reliable for in-depth investigations into national security and civil liberties, it has faced criticism over source protection and intense ideological focus. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's
Let me see if it dropped on my iPad too. No, it's on my phone, and I'm up here. Yeah, that's why I was like, whoa.
meow.
Why are we just putting random people's names in the chat?
Hmm?
Like I see several different names in the chat. And good morning. Wafi says good morning to all of you as well. She's being nice right now. Intercept is excellent. But yeah, they said they've been trying for a whole month to get this person. They're saying that Reddit has until the 14th to.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. This kind of goes back to what good morning, Al. This goes back to what Scott has been talking about, about how we need to be watching what's happening with the media and how them trying to come after it.
Can you update us on the Strait? Nothing new on the Strait right now. It's still basically closed. I think the last time I looked, in the last 24 hours, 7 ships have gone through. So, and everyone that goes through has to pay Iran $1 million to do it. There's supposed to be negotiations going on in Pakistan, I think, today. Starting today. We'll see how that goes. There's really nothing new other than that at the moment. Do I have it? No, but I mean, you can go in and read it. It's 1 million right now. They want to make it 2 million. That's part of the 10-point deal or whatever 10-point plan they've put forth. According to what I've read, at least it's one right now. Just T behaving badly as usual. True. Won't that bring up the cost of gas? Yep. Yep. It's always funny to see the same people never talk, but always try and come up. Yes, the ceasefire never happened.
Hey, I already have that person blocked personally, so it won't let me block it. It just keeps like blocking them for me. That's somebody you want to block. I thought I blocked them in this space. It's like as soon as I clicked on them, it's saying unblock, and I'm like, well, how are you requesting if you're blocked? Yeah. Wait, how are you in here?
I just blocked him.
They're in the chat though.
I know, I just blocked him.
I got you.
Morning, Patty.
Yeah, racist as hell, says all kind of misogynistic, ignorant shit. Like, no, that's like one of those people that the debate channels, even though, although I will say a lot of debate channels have started to block them too.
Hey, Tareen. You had to take a mental break from it all. I feel you. I feel you. I saw that, Rosa. I'll have to check it out later. Supposed to be a congressional committee hearing with some of those platforms after the Kirk situation. You mean the feeling like pointless committee hearings? Like we're wasting money, literally just throwing money away.
And I think that's what makes it so bad, is the fact that we truly do not need to spend the money the way that we're spending it, and then you have the fucking audacity to sit here and come after programs that help the people, and mostly poor and marginalized people, because that's how we make this country better, right? We make sure that there's more money available for these multi-billion-dollar contracts for people to get fucking rich off of, charging $10,000 a fucking screw, but we can't feed all of our kids. We're having a this shit is just like there's so much. It just it's Woosah. Wafi's right here with me. Woosah.
But he doesn't care. Oh, I know he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anybody or anything. There's a reason that the title of this whole live over on TikTok is that Trump doesn't care about America or Americans. I forget what I said. But he doesn't
And you're
care.
right. And you're right. What you said earlier, I blame them too. All those feckless fucking cowards that did not vote to have him damn in the Senate. I blame every single one of them that did not vote yes to have him indict. Oh my gosh. Damn dogs. Sorry. I if they would have done what they should have done the first freaking place, we would not be here, because he wouldn't have been able to run. He wouldn't have been able to be the president again. So I 100% agree with you. I forgot to reply to that when you said that earlier on the other side.
Joel, I do not believe he will actually use one. Again, there is a reason that one has not been used since the first time. There is a reason. Mutual destruction is mutual guaranteed destruction is a great, has been a great deterrent, and it still will be, because again, I think this administration is capable of doing a lot of things. If I truly am willing to believe that there's one thing they won't, that is it. I do not think he would be able, I do not think that would happen. And again, in the grand scheme of things, could I be wrong? Sure. Always could be wrong.
I think then it would definitely. In my head, I'm hearing that song. It's the end of the world as we know it. I'm fine, because it would literally just be a shit show. It would definitely be a shit show.
Who sang that?
It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's the end of the world as we know it. God damn it. That'll be in my head all day now.
REM. Thank you.
There we go.
What's up, Suge?
You're welcome, Scott. At least it's not the song about the animal that swims in the ocean. I won't even say the words.
The animal that swims in the ocean.
Yep, with the baby in front of it. You don't even want me to get started.
Is that the polar bear because the ice caps are melting?
No.
I don't care. Those polar bears scare me. I don't care.
She's talking about a kid's song that everyone that gets stuck in your head, and people hate that it gets stuck in their head.
And it doesn't. It's like it's the same song, same words over and over. Do 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 do.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad everything's working out. Steve Witkoff will once again be heading up our negotiations along with our intrepid vice president. Steve Witkoff, you might remember him. He failed in Israel, failed in Ukraine, failed in Gaza, failed with Russia, failed with the EU, and failed the first time around with Iran when, because he didn't bring a Farsi interpreter, he didn't even know what the Iranian proposal was, which turns out it went a long way towards meeting all of our demands. So instead, we went to war. But I got a great idea. Let's send Steve Witkoff and his loyal sidekick, Jared, over to negotiate again. We'll see how he fucks this one up.
Yep.
Did either one or both of you guys listen to is it John Kerry, his interview that he did talking about the war?
No.
About what's going on?
No, I did see it on YouTube before I went to work this morning, and I didn't have a chance to listen to it.
Oh, well, if you guys get a chance, like T was playing it before, so like even when you first started, it was finishing up, so I was still listening on my phone while I had my iPad on the tube. But yeah, he was just like, he's like, it took us 4 years to work out, with Obama. Oh my gosh, you almost ran on my foot. To work out a deal, and they had it, and it was working, and the things were thinking like they were supposed to think, and then this fucker just comes in and he was sitting there talking about how detrimental that's going to be for any kind of true peace or deal or anything, because why do they have any reason to trust us? He was like, they have absolutely no right to trust us. And he's like, and then you sit here and think about the fact that they're talking about, oh, they got rid of the older fella. They were like, yeah, but in the process of the new one that came to be, he was like, what did you do? You also unalived his wife, his kids, and all of this. He's like, so you thought that was a good choice, and that's something. It's definitely should listen to it. He had all the things that we've been saying. To hear somebody of that caliber with that kind of experience say it, he's pretty much saying everything that we've been saying in this space.
Yeah, Emily asks, could we explain who Steve Witkoff is? I'll be happy to, Emily. Steve Witkoff is a shady New York real estate hustler with exactly zero experience in diplomacy. So rather than use our State Department, which used to have an Iran desk, that got shut down by Doge. It used to have a Mideast division, that has been dwindled down to next to nothing. Donald Trump is relying on Steve Witkoff to do his negotiations. Now, Steve Witkoff has quite an ego. He is convinced he is the second coming of Henry Kissinger. He most assuredly is not. For instance, forget about the fact that he totally misread the Iranian position on nuclear, on the 1,000 pounds of nuclear enriched material. He fucked that all up. But wait, there's more. Remember Trump's summit with Vladimir Putin? Well, he had wired from Moscow, we got to have a summit fast. Putin is caving on his demands. He completely misread it because he didn't bother to bring an American interpreter with him who could have told him that Putin gave us nothing. Net result of the Trump-Putin summit, Putin walked out and didn't even stay until lunch. And Donald Trump had to fly out himself with his tail between his legs, just like he's doing now with Iran. So we're still having our negotiations done by a guy who has utterly no experience and no qualifications to do it. Well, why not? We have Kennedy as the head of HHS. We might as well have Steve Witkoff doing our negotiations.
Joel, trying to use something that Trump said 30 years ago as a reason why you think he will use something now. The man has almost never told a truth in his entire life. He will say whatever he can to get attention and FaceTime and visibility. He will literally say anything to get it. 30 years ago, that's literally a whole different planet right now. It's one thing to say it when you're not in office. It's a whole nother thing to say it when you are there.
Yeah, the doctrine of mutually assured destruction has worked it's called the MAD theory, and it's worked since 1945. There's very little bad I won't say about Donald Trump, but I agree with Mike. I don't think he's going to go there.
Now,
I
again,
just don't see it.
could we be wrong? Look, the future is unknown. The future is unknown, but
Especially with this guy.
all we can do is go by what we have in front of us, and the mad theory is still in existence for a reason, because it literally, like, there is no doubt that if this happened, most of the globe would be on fire. That's the one thing nobody wants.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jadis. The 25th Amendment or impeachment would be the way forward. Unfortunately, I just don't see it happening. Ask yourself this. I'm mispronouncing your name. Jedi Hassis.
You can just call him Jedi.
Okay, Jedi. You got to ask yourself this. Who in this clown show of a cabinet that we have would ever vote to remove Donald Trump? These people are unqualified to do anything. They're unqualified to tie their own shoes. Do you think they would actually vote to remove the person who gave them high office? I don't. I mean, it could be a Weekend at Bernie's situation and they would be fine with it. They don't care.
Yeah, that is the problem. And again, I don't have an issue with us talking about it, how we wish it would happen, and talking about why it should happen. We need to be talking about these things. Heck, press people in office, I don't care. But in the end, what we need to do is talk about all of the different possibilities. The only way is impeachment, and right now, that's not even an option. Because you can get impeachment, maybe. You may be able to get, especially after his absolutely shit crazy post a couple days ago, you may be able to get a simple majority in Congress, in the House, to vote for it. But you won't get 20 United States Senate Republicans to vote for it. Just won't.
You've got to understand that to convict someone, it's a very high bar. You need 67 senators to vote to convict. How many times in American history have we had that happen? The answer is 0. It didn't happen with Andrew Johnson. It didn't happen with Bill Clinton. It didn't happen with Donald Trump. And before anybody brings up Nixon, you have to remember that Nixon resigned. Yep. He was not impeached or convicted.
Would he have been? Very Probably. Good possibility, yeah. And again, this is why I keep saying, this is why voting in the primaries is important. This is why I've interviewed over 100 progressive candidates that want to start making real changes. That's why I'm posting every day over on the tube. That's why you guys need to watch the stuff. Please. If we want some of these changes to happen, it requires putting people in office that are willing to make these things happen. There are plenty of people that are running. We may not get enough in the Senate this year, but because of the realities of how many run every 2 years. But we can get a whole hell of a lot closer, and who knows what could come out of that. If let's look at it this way. If you were a Republican senator, especially, and you saw how many seats are up for election this year total?
In the Senate, it's always a third of the Senate is up each.
So 33?
Yeah, I think it might be 34 this year because there's always an odd one.
Because retired too, and people are retiring, etc. But let's say out of the 33, 34, let's go big. Let's say 30 of them all are Democrat. I don't think that'll happen, but let's go with it as a thought experiment. If you don't think that the GOP in the United States wouldn't have their eyes opened by 30 out of 34 flipping in the way the current system is, you potentially could get something crazy like that to happen if they see something, if the politicians see something like this, because if that's not a trend, I don't know what else is. So 35 reg seats. Okay. So again, is that going to happen? Probably not. Could it happen? The way everything is going, literally anything is possible. And you can tell that because they are spending money in seats, in districts and in states that they don't usually spend money in.
To answer your question, C. West, yes, Bill Clinton was impeached, but he was not convicted.
Yeah, impeachment's easy. And I hate
That's a majority vote in the House.
Yep.
You know, getting back to this war thing, let's look at this at a macro sense just for a second. Even though the president never bothered to articulate his war aims, they came out in drips and drabs, and it's really three of them. Regime change, limits on Iran's ballistic missile program, and the 970 pounds of enriched uranium had to be turned over to the United States. We achieved exactly zero of that. We are going to achieve exactly zero of that. But we did achieve something else. We gave Iran something that is more important than their nuclear weapons program, which, by the way, they will absolutely go full bore in building a nuke now. If they weren't before, they are going to now. They are going to develop a nuclear weapon. They are going to do it with remarkable speed. They are going to do it because they have the technology to do it. But more importantly than that, we have now given them a chokehold over the Straits of Hormuz, that at any time of their choosing, they can hold the entire world's economy hostage at any time of their choosing. And what are we going to do about it? We're going to do nothing about it. Trump's not going to do anything about it. He's not going to do a damn thing about it. He is not stepping into this cesspool again.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to run tail between his legs right back to Washington, and we aren't going to do a damn thing about it. And, I ripped up the terrible Obama deal. It isn't our opinion that the Iranians were not building a nuclear weapon under President Obama after that deal. It isn't our opinion. It's the opinion of the IAEA, because the Iranians, as part of the deal, had to allow IAEA independent inspectors to go in and check all the time, no holds barred, anywhere they wanted to go. And they said the Iranians were living up to the agreement. And we got rid of that for what reason? Well, I guess it's because Obama's name was on it. And look where we are now.
Yep. Yeah. We're
That's go ahead.
I was just going to say, when you're talking about no one's going to control the Strait. If it was so easy to control the Strait, the US would have done it already. That's just a reality. If it was that easy, it would have been done. It's not. It's practically impossible in that tiny space. That's why no one did anything. Sorry, go.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. That's one of the things that Kerry said too. He's like, Scott, almost exactly what you said. He's like, and why did we rip it up? Because Obama did it.
Yeah. I mean, it was it perfect? No, because it was only 10 years. It was the best deal that he could get. But that's 10 years without a nuke. That's 10 years of safety or 10, or it may have been 15 years. I forget what it was. 10 or 15 years, one of those two. And it was working better than anything else, better than anything we got out of North Korea. That's for sure. It was working. And there's another thing. The Iranians unalived 45,000. I'm using the president's number, and it does sound about right. It's between 30 and 70,000 in just this latest round of protest of their own people. And what did we do? Just like in 1956 in Hungary, we encouraged them to take to the streets. The president encouraged them and said, help is on the way. Well, help never got there, and they got mowed down. We didn't do a damn thing to help them. We didn't arm the Kurds. We didn't arm them. We didn't give them communications ability. We didn't get them Starlink to help them communicate with each other. They may have done the heavy lifting for us. But no, we didn't do a damn thing. And look at us now. And if you think that prices are going to go back to $2.50 a gallon, you're living in la la land. The insurance rates alone to ship natural gas and oil through the Straits and fertilizer through the Straits of Hormuz are going to go through the roof and stay there.
Yep.
Because they also know that Iran now has a permanent chokehold on the Straits of Hormuz.
And you want to know what tankers are getting through? Russia. Russian tankers are getting through.
And why not? We begged the Ukraine to help us with anti-drone technology because I guess at $1 trillion a year, we haven't figured out how to build anti-drone technology. So Ukraine, for free, is helping us do that. And how do we repay Ukraine? We remove sanctions from Russian tankers. That's how we repay Ukraine. Mm-hmm. We backstab them yet again.
And remove sanctions from Iranian tankers. What the actual...
Oh, don't you remember in World War II when we removed sanctions from Adolf? Oh, that's right. We didn't because we were fighting them.
Patty. Thank you for the fireworks.
Yeah, that's all of that is very, very true. And that's the thing. And if I'm not mistaken, that's something else that Carrie, spoke to. I mean, because even in just what you were saying though, Scott, whether it's 10 or 15 years, if we could have, we did what we were supposed to do for 10 years or whatever, and we upheld our stuff, but then you have him just come in and rip shit all the shreds. Like, that's why I was saying earlier, why would they trust us to make a deal? Carrie said the same thing. Why would they ever trust us to make another deal? We had a deal that we took years to make. Everything is kind of going to plan, and then this fucker just comes in and
Mr. Slippers, do I care about what? What are you asking if I or people in here care about? We care about a lot of things. So you need to clarify. Come on, man. I'm only 23 and I just got a part. Emmeline, I feel for everyone, every young person in this country that's just trying to start to make their way in this country. It's not.
Mike, kid, and chat. This is the greatest strategic disaster for the United States since World War II. Now, you might say, well, what about Vietnam? What about Iraq? What about Afghanistan? Not even close, because while they were bitter defeats, they didn't change the global economic or power system. This has. We have given Iran a chokehold over 20% of the world's natural gas, more than that in terms of fertilizer, and 20% of the world's oil. Moreover, the Gulf states of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, the UAE, they now know something that they didn't know before. And what is that? What do they know now? That the United States umbrella can't protect them. Those missiles got through. Qatar had 20% of its natural gas production, the largest natural gas field in the world, knocked out from between 3 and 5 years. I'm not making this up. This is from the government of Qatar.
Oh, and by the way, again, if you watch people like Mr. Global, he's a great person to talk about the things that are going on. And I've said it before too. So we love to look at stock futures and we talk about what stock future numbers are like. Physical costs on oil is $50 a barrel higher right now. Stock futures, anytime they think something's coming, people are buying or shorting stock futures. Mr. Global said we can't negotiate with the Ayatollah. What does that have to do with anything? Mr. Global did not say we should be doing what we're doing in there. In fact, he said what we're doing in there is going to make life abundantly worse for this country.
You know, there's an excellent point being made in chat by, I can't pronounce the name, but it's 84 at the end of it. The Europeans are also dumping all their USA deals and selling gold reserves, etc. That's exactly true, and it's even more so in Asia. We've been having, thank God, long overdue, a building boom of refinery capacity in Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana to get out liquefied natural gas because the customers were lining up around the block. We're losing all those contracts now. All of them. They're pulling out. And what's going to happen to the economies of those southern states now? We are losing those contracts because they have decided that they cannot rely on the United States or really anybody else. They're going to diversify their energy sources to things like coal, nuclear, and renewable energy. And this is primarily nations like Vietnam, the Philippines, because they've had to institute gas rationing. They've had to close down businesses. They've had to go to a 4-day work week. And they can't sustain that. And they realize that the guaranteed production coming out of the Persian Gulf is no longer guaranteed anymore.
Yep.
It may go on for 3 months before the choke collar is yanked by Iran, may go on for 2 years before the choke collar is yanked again by Iran. This is a strategic disaster that has affected the entire world economy. Tiffany was right a couple of days ago when she brought up that this, up to now, largely Trump has just damaged America. Now he's damaging the world. And this is going to be permanent damage.
And
the
finish.
The rates of insurance, one last. The rates of insurance to go through the Straits of Hormuz are going to be permanently elevated now. That will filter down through the entire economy, not just the United States, the entire world's economy.
Mm-hmm. Steve, sorry, I obviously misunderstood. I've seen the video where Mr. Global said that without the Ayatollah's agreement, no ceasefire is going to be fully confirmed. Yes, I know what you're saying. And that does not mean there can't be negotiation. It means nothing can be fully agreed to, like finalized, without the Ayatollah signing off on it. And you're right. So I mean, I don't have an issue with them going and negotiating, but yes, if the person in charge is either can't because he's in a coma right now, or doesn't agree with it, then nothing's happening. And that is another way that this administration is totally incompetent. Yes, Dark Lord, mythical hat. Be your mythical best. Yeah, go.
Scott, that name was Kunta Kinte.
Oh, my eyes, my glasses aren't good enough. I couldn't quite make it out, and I didn't know if the first 4 letters were K-U-N-T, and I just didn't want to take a chance in mispronouncing it.
The second we dropped the first bomb, we lost. You can say Toby if it makes it easier. There you go.
You know, C. West, I hear you. We need energy independence, but that's not the full point. It's energy independence at what cost? Everything is going to get significantly more expensive. Inflation's here to stay. Oh, you want the Fed to drop rates? How? How are they going to drop rates now? Inflation just jumped to 3.3%. The figures came out this morning. 3.3%, up from 2.8%. So that's just in 1 month. We can't drop interest rates. We're going to pay more for oil because, as Mike said, it doesn't matter how much oil the United States produces. It's a worldwide price. Same thing with natural gas. And natural gas, I think, is going to end up being the bigger problem than oil, because natural gas is used to produce nitrogen-based fertilizer, most of which comes from the Persian Gulf, because obviously there's a ton of natural gas there, and they make it there. Well, where does that travel through? Oh, you guessed it, the Straits of Hormuz. And with Qatar's, the world's biggest oil field, being severely damaged from at least 3 to 5 years, that's going to lead to a worldwide spike in liquid and regular natural gas prices, which, by the way, has already happened. They're already up over 20%. And those prices aren't coming down because the production isn't going to go back up.
Yep.
That field is shut down.
And again, when there are other things happening that is going to make things worse in this country. Canada, which pumps a lot of oil down into the United States that we then ship out. They're talking and working on making their own refineries. They don't have to sell to us. They choose to sell to us, but they certainly don't have to. And again, we don't have a nationalized energy system like most countries do. The money that is gotten from sales is not given to the people. It is made as profit by these oil companies. They're the ones that make the money. They're the ones that do it. We don't benefit hardly at all from all of this.
Yes, Stephen brings up a point that I touched on before. Good comment, Stephen. Thank you. That the Persian Gulf states are going to look to other people to partner with for their own defense. Last weekend, the first start of this is at least 3 of them, and I think 4 of them, have signed big contracts with Ukraine to provide them with drone technology.
Yep.
You're going to see them move towards China. And as soon as tempers abate a little bit, they're going to have no choice now, none whatsoever, than to reach an accommodation with Iran. Because we have handed Iran a gift that is bigger than nuclear weapons. We have handed them de facto control of the Straits of Hormuz, which is the economic lifeline of all the Persian Gulf states. And who gets left out in this new world order? Take a wild guess. The United States.
And even the EU. So they had agreed to start. They had started the process of weaning themselves off of Russian natural gas, but because of the Iranian war, they have had to cancel that plan because they need it, because they can't get it from the Persian Gulf anymore. I don't think people realize how much we have literally destroyed every advantage that we had. Whether we should have or not is a different story, but our place in the world order, our place at the table, our place in everything has been summarily destroyed by almost everything that this administration has done, we've basically pulled America deserves to be humbled. Again, look, I don't blame anyone for not liking America, especially as a system. We've definitely screwed the pooch in many, many, many ways. Yeah.
We have destroyed economic transit with our ridiculous tariffs. Our on again, off again tariffs have hurt American business. That's why we had a net loss of manufacturing jobs. And, you know, the evil Joe Biden produced 2.23 million jobs in his last year as president. And we're flatlining now on job production, as in zero. I mean, and then you look at it geostrategically. What happens if the Persian Gulf, Asian nations start finding new sources for their gas? They start cutting back on what they purchase from the United States and other countries because they can't rely anymore on a stable source of natural gas or oil. So they're looking to coal. They're looking to alternative sources of renewable energy. And that's going to cost an awful lot of American jobs. And we're right in the middle, as I said before, of a boom of very much needed refinery capacity in the southern United States. They're not done with that. What's that money going to all be wasted? It looks that way right now. You're talking tens of billions of dollars.
Yep.
The downstream effects of this are beyond any of our grasp, but we're going to find out over the next 2 to 3 years what the downstream effects of this are. A realignment of the Gulf states, which have accepted American protection, and with that, they pretty much do what we want them to do in terms of turning on the oil spigot when we need extra oil. They're going to be looking elsewhere for their defense now, and justifiably so. We weren't able to protect them, even though we said we would. We have great interceptor missiles, but they aren't enough.
Yep. It's Patty. Thank you for everyone that has given to me and to Ia and Scott. Thank you. We all appreciate it more than you know. There's you can't. You're stuck with me forever. We have as Steve said, Steven said, the globe now realizes the U.S. is unreliable and not capable to do what it says. At least not keep their promises. That's for sure. Our agreements can, if a new president can come in and just do this to stop to end an agreement, no matter what, that's a problem. Do you think it's ever going to get better? Yes, I do. Do I think it's ever going to go back to the way it was? No, I don't, and that's not a bad thing. I think I firmly believe that no country should be at the top, personally. And I think it's kind of ridiculous how we put ourselves at the top and what we have done over the last, multiple decades, to quote unquote keep ourselves there. And I don't think it's right. I don't think that in the long run, it was actually good even for America. It was good for some people in America, the ones who get, who are willing to use the system and make a lot of money out of it. But for most of America, I don't think in the long run, it is good. It was good.
Yeah, well, look, we created the rules-based international order out of the ashes of World War II in 1945, and it has benefited us immensely in terms of wealth, in terms of prestige, and in terms of keeping the international order and preventing war between the major powers. There have been plenty of wars, but not between the major powers. We tore that up even before this ridiculous war. We tore that up, and what have we replaced it with? Nothing really. Hegemonistic 19th century thinking of you control your hemisphere, we'll control ours. You know, Cuba, it's ours. We're going to take it. Venezuela, it's ours. We're going to take it. Oh, Russia, you go ahead and take Ukraine. Do you think that's going to work long term? Of course not.
And
Of course not.
and Stephen, is your statement of no country will ever trust the U.S. ever again? That's not true. That's not true. I'm sure there were people that thought they would never trust Germany again either. Well, they did. It took time. It took them doing work to get themselves to a point of being trusted again. And it's going to take us doing work to get ourselves to the point of being trusted again. Never is not the same though. Sure it is. It's just a different, what situation caused it is different, but every country has the ability to prove if we don't do anything different, no, we won't ever be trusted again. If we try and keep doing the exact same thing and don't make any changes, sure, it's never going to happen. But if you think, I don't believe that nothing is going to change. I don't think there's a capability of nothing changing, because what's happening is going to cause such a massive ripple through American society that things will change. How long it will take, what the change looks like, will depend on how many people in this country get involved and finally start like paying attention and talking and working through the problems that we have here. There's a lot of them we need to work through, and that's going to take time, and we are going to be hurting for a bit. That's your society is so polarized, it needs fixing. Yeah, it needs fixing. Okay.
Okay, before, because I don't want us to get too far ahead. Like what we were talking about. Damn, that's frustrating. I've been holding that for so long. I know, Waffy. Mama's brain is fried today. Stephen, you know what though? I have to say I don't, as I'm kind of like in between. I think it's definitely going to take decades. I think it's going to be totally different than Germany, because of the fact that we had a 4-year grace period in between of somebody that started trying to turn things around and put things back on the right track, and we turned around and we brought back the trouble again. Like, we willingly did it. We were not, those people that voted, or those people that chose that, were not forced to. They, it's everybody's right to vote however they want to. I agree with that. But I feel you. Like, we have definitely shown we are not to be trusted. And that's exactly with Iran. Like, how do we really think that any kind of deal is actually going to be made? Because we didn't have to do this in the first fucking place. We already had something that we could have just went ahead and said, okay, well, this seems to be working. Let's extend the part that needs to be extended and keep it moving. And that's part of the huge issue, and I don't blame any of these countries selling all their gold and all that stuff. And I do agree, we do need to be humbled. For us to be as young as we are, we have done a lot of fucked up shit. And not just to the world, but the stuff that we've done in our own borders to the people that have been here is just as fucked up. Like, we have shown on so many different ways, like, we have so much to learn, we have so much to get better at. We've fucked up a lot. So all of you guys saying that we need to be humbled, and I get it. That I don't mean that I want any harm to come to the US people. However, I think some people do need to realize that there is an entire world outside of the United States and that this planet does not revolve around us. I think we do need that. I think we need to know that. And I think some people need to be made to feel that. There's a lot of us that have felt all the bad shit for a long time, but a lot of other people have skated for centuries being comfortable in their lives and everything just being okay because they've never had to fight adversity. They've never had to deal with it. It's never been in their faces the way it is. So yes, I do agree that that this country needs to be humbled on so many different kinds of levels because there is a possibility for us to be a better country if we just fucking get out of our own way.
You know, Steve, I agree and disagree in part in what you said. I think you overshot it when you said ever. Yeah, the United States can rebuild trust. However, it's going to take a long, long time. Trust among nations is a lot like trust among people. When trust is broken, it's very difficult to fix. Pardon me. It's going to take at least a generation to fix trust, and I'll tell you why. The election of 2024 showed people that the election of 2016 was not a fluke.
Mhm.
Every nation is entitled to have one lousy leader. There's been plenty of lousy kings. There's been plenty of lousy Kaisers in Germany, plenty of lousy czars in Russia. Everybody's entitled to have one mistake. But when 4 years later we turned around and reelected him, we sent the world a message that this is who we are. And I always bring it up, but I bring it up for a good reason. The head of the French Parliament said that European security cannot rely upon the American vote, a bunch of uninformed American voters in Wisconsin every 4 years to keep from going back to crazy town. And that's the risk. Yes, the Democrats are going to win the midterms. And frankly, that would put them an odds-on favorite to win the election of 2028. But you can't base your foreign policy if you're a European or a South Korean or a Japanese or Australian upon the hope of 1 4-year term and then America going right back to crazy town all over again.
Yep.
So it's going to take a long, long time. So I think that's what you were really saying, Stephen. It's going to take a long time to rebuild that trust. And in that, you are absolutely correct. It's not something that's going to happen with the next president or even the president after that.
We are going to have to be willing to put things in place that can protect things like deals that we make, can protect those relationships, those negotiations, those anything from someone coming in and just being able to just snap their finger and flip it. Like there's going to have to be real changes put into place.
Yeah, I hear you, Steve, and I tend to agree with your point. I knew what you were trying to say, and you may have misworded it a little bit, but ever is a long time. Ever's 1,000 years from now. So, but it's this is not going to be a one-off fix. I mean, and that's we're on social media now, and everybody wants immediate answers, and everybody wants things in black and white, and there's never any gray, and there's never any nuance. Well, unfortunately, this is a long-term problem. This is a long-term problem that's going to have to be done at the local level, the state level, the federal level, and it's going to have to take a lot of years for the United States to rebuild trust. A lot of years. More than one presidency, more than 2 presidencies, probably even more than 3 presidencies. Who's going to trust us if they think in the next election we can throw it all away and get another crazy person? Who's going to trust us?
How do you fix the polarization? So here's the way I look at it. So there's multiple problems, but I think the biggest problem that we've got, and the reason it feels so polarizing, is there is currently a extreme difference on the fundamentals. So the way we do things here is everyone, especially everyone who I allow up in the box for these conversations, I know that even when we disagree, we have the same fundamentals. We all believe that all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, or identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. What does that do for us? That allows us to have a baseline for every conversation that we have. Even when we disagree, we know that we all care up here about everybody in this country evenly, fairly, the same. We can always come back to that, even when we disagree strongly at times. I think the reason there's a feel of polarization is there is, at least with some people, and I think some have been convinced otherwise too, but I think there is a massive difference on that baseline, on that fundamental. And see, it's called compromise and joint working, but that really happens now because, again, I can't work with someone. How can I work with someone on a bill that involves Americans when the person I'm working with doesn't believe that all people deserve the same kind of rights? And that's what we're dealing with. And that's a problem around the world right now, to be honest. It's blatant and huge here right now, but there's a lot of countries that are dealing with this with that problem. And we need to get back to that. We need to get back to having conversations. We need to get back to being willing to be wrong and being willing to listen and being willing to learn. These are all things that we have lost due to a lot of different things, due to the internet, due to, like, there's just a lot. And it's going to take time to get through it.
Yeah, and you're right to point out it's a world problem. In fact, we have a very important election taking place this Sunday in Hungary, and it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I found it amazing that an American vice president has weighed in on a foreign nation's elections. If anybody ever did that to us, we would go ape about that. And frankly, I think the visit of the vice president to Hungary did more for Viktor Orban's opponents than it did to help Viktor Orban, because Donald Trump isn't all that popular in Hungary. And you know about this whole polarization thing. Polarization in and of itself is not necessarily bad. It's good to have opposing viewpoints. But what's necessary, what's a predicate to that, and to keep it from getting out of control, is that both parties accept democratic principles. And right now, I think only one party accepts democratic principles. And I say that's small d democratic. The Republican Party has shown itself willing to try and rig elections. They applaud a man who attempted a coup against the United States on January 6th. What's necessary is that for both parties to understand that they are in it together and they can have strong differences of opinion, but accept that one party wins, one party loses, and you move on to the next election. And right now, I don't know if we have that. And that's that long term, that's very scary for the United States. Do I believe that'll change? Yeah, I sort of do. I have a feeling that there will be a change in the Republican Party once Trump is gone from the scene. At least I hope.
And again,
I
it's
think.
go
Oh, go ahead.
Kia. No, go.
I was gonna say, I think even that, Scott, is gonna take time because that fucker came in like a wrecking ball on the Republican Party, and that shit caved so fucking fast, flipped and rolled, and then started just rolling around in the ooze and got covered in it. And they were just like,
Oh, no argument here. It's
I
definitely
I
going
don't
to take
know.
time.
Honestly, I don't even know. It's kind of like the whole thing with the cubes. Like, people are like, we shouldn't get rid. Yes, we should. because what they've done is so harmful. They will never be able to go back to what it was beforehand and it be looked at the same. It makes me curious, Scott, if it doesn't maintain as the Republican Party, or if they don't maybe change their name or some kind of way or something, because I mean they are right now, especially anybody that's alive through any of this, like GOP, like Republicans and like MAGA are like one and one. And I know some people agree with that, some people disagree, and everybody's entitled to feel how you feel. But even the quote unquote regular Republicans that are voting line and step with this bullshit, they are just as culpable and just as much to blame. So it makes me wonder. My hope is, Scott, honestly, because we do need to have more than one party. I hope that there's some younger Republicans that come out and they're like, "Hey, we're tired of how all that shit was done. We need to change stuff." And I hope for our country's sake that that's what happens.
Well, as an example of what you're talking about, Kia, Dave adds the very helpful comment. So you believe the same law that created the Russia hoax had the real evidence? Well, I have no idea what you're talking about, but real evidence was produced in the Russia investigation. It was far from a hoax. 105 instances admitted to by the very people who did it of members of the Trump campaign having contacts with the Russians. 105 instances that they admitted to under oath. So, you really ought to learn what you're talking about before you make comments like that.
And the idea of no parties is great. But until we work through the current system in order to get people in office that are willing to make the changes we want, we are stuck in the system that we're in. We can make the change. There are people running right now that want to make the change. Literally hundreds of them. But we need to get state and federal in order to make the changes that are necessary. Necessary. Not even like until things like the Electoral College are gone. We're going to be struggling to get, like, it will be two parties. It will be a two-party system, at least for president, as long as the Electoral College exists.
Yeah, and getting back to Kia's point, I completely agree that there has to be a rebirth of the Republican Party. I thought I'd made that clear, but I guess not. I totally agree with you. And, the thing that scares me, that sort of bothers me, is as big a shit show as this has been, this guy's still going to be here for another 2 3/4 years. And he actually believes in his twisted mind, or what's left of his mind, that somehow he's getting victory after victory, and he's surrounded with people who are telling him everything you do is perfect. And that's dangerous. We talked about this on day one, as I recall. All of us did. When we saw the cabinet that he had appointed and the cowardice of the United States Senate in abdicating their role of advice and consent and allowing these nominations to go through of people who were manifestly unqualified for the job, one after another. Marco Rubio is the only one who was even marginally qualified to be appointed to that cabinet. Everybody else, every single one, was manifestly unqualified for the job that they got. Now you see the price that is paid by having a bunch of incompetence around the president. A president can be incompetent if he has competent people around him to tell him no. We saw that in the first term. It's not an ideal situation, but it's manageable. But this is unmanageable, and we still have 2 3/4 years to go with this.
What are you going to talk about when this administration goes? Whatever the next administration does. I know you think that a bunch of us only exist because of I don't know, because of the guy who's president right now. Last cabinet was not a joke. Last cabinet was so much better than this cabinet. Were they perfect? No, they weren't. Not even a little bit. They made plenty of mistakes.
You have people like Kelly and Mattis. You have people who, as the national security advisor after the first one got bounced, of course, who were and you had at the CIA who were able to tell the president, no. I'm talking primarily in terms of foreign affairs. No, that first cabinet was no day at the beach. I admit that. But they weren't all a bunch of yes men. This cabinet is a freak show. It's literally a freak show. There's no other way to describe it.
Pete Buttigieg was infinitely more qualified and better at his job than the current transportation secretary. Alejandro Mayorkas was infinitely better than Kristi Noem. LOL. Oh, good comeback. Yeah, love it.
What did Pete Buttigieg do wrong in your opinion? What did he do wrong?
He can't speak anymore.
Oh, good.
You got to be careful asking that question, especially with somebody like Pete Buttigieg, with somebody acting like that in the chat, because we don't want them to say the wrong words, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why I said good when they said they bounced him anyway. And quite frankly, he's obviously, when you give a reply like that, Kia, as you well know, you know better than me, he's not interested in having a conversation.
Nope. That's when the slurs usually start to fly after that kind of stuff. That's why it's like, yeah, nope.
This cabinet, again, it's not easy to run a country, especially a country as large and diverse as the United States. But to pretend that the qualifications, the living qualifications of the people that were on the cabinet in the last administration to the ones now is it's not even close. It's not even close. Is any physician or doctor going to come in and be knowledgeable enough on all situations that HHS deals with? No. That's why you put people under you that have a knowledge of more situations or more things, and you run it as a group. But
yeah, like our Surgeon General.
Correct.
Who is not a surgeon, not a doctor, and gets her relationship advice from trees. No, I'm not making that up. She gets relationship advice from trees.
Or our Secretary of HHS, who has no health anything background. He's a lawyer. And a lawyer who's had a friggin' worm dig around in his brain.
Yes, Anna, they were approved by 53 Republican senators who totally abdicated their responsibilities under the Constitution. I can understand wanting to support your president. I really can. I get that. There's partisanship. Then Democrats are just as partisan. I get that. But there's partisanship, and then again, there's abdicating your responsibilities as a United States senator to advise and consent on a cabinet level position. When you appoint people who are manifestly unqualified, when you appoint a Pete Hegseth, who was a part-time weekend anchor on Fox News, which means that's the graveyard shift for television. He couldn't even do that job very well. That's why he was a weekend anchor, whose only executive experience was heading one organization of 100 people, another organization of 140, and in both instances, he got fired for gross incompetence. When you make him Secretary of Defense, Houston, we have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And when anyone who speaks out against you about what you're doing and saying you shouldn't do what you're doing just gets fired, that's not okay. That's the actual job of the people that are in those positions are to say what can be done and what can't be done, what should be done or what shouldn't be done. Like that is, again, that is their job. And if you aren't allowed to, why was your last post pulled? This app pulls things all the time. I have no idea why TikTok filters what it does.
You know, look at other presidents. President Kennedy was a pretty bright guy. I think we can all agree on that. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. He was a fairly intelligent person, a Harvard graduate. His main qualification that he wanted in his cabinet, he wanted every cabinet member to be smarter than he was. He wanted someone who could say, no, Mr. President, that's a bad idea. The same thing with FDR. They were called the Brain Trust for a reason. He appointed the smartest people, a lot of them Republicans, to work in his cabinet because he wanted the brightest and the best to be helping him deal with the Great Depression in 1932. The same with Abraham Lincoln. Look what Trump does. And Trump starts out with a baseline of, let's face it, this guy isn't smart. Whatever else he is, he's not smart. And he appoints the only people he could find in the whole country who might be dumber than he is.
I agree. And Scott, I don't know, this was before I noticed you were in the chat. Did you hear the story I had brought up about the intercept that had dropped like right when I joined?
Kia, I literally got back from work and just turned on, and Mike brought me right up. So I missed everything that took place before I came up.
So there was a story, and I spoke of you when we were talking about the media, because they just they're subpoenaing Reddit, and they're giving them until April 14th because the DOJ, they want it's one of the departments there's somebody on Reddit that has been speaking out against the cubes and what's been happening in the administration, and they've been trying for a month to figure out who it is, and they can't find out, and they want to try to take Reddit to court to make them tell them who the user is so they can hold that person accountable. And as it dropped, I was telling Mike, because it came, so he pulled it up, and I was like, that's exactly what Scott was talking about, them coming for the media.
We ought to, someday when the war calms down, and we ought to talk about what is, in my opinion, this, Kia, because I wrote you a long DM about it, the tremendous threat to democracy of allowing any one entity or group of like-minded entities to control media, news, motion pictures, streaming, and social media. That is antithetical to having a functioning democracy. And I would say the exact same thing if it was owned by left-wingers as well. It's wrong. It shouldn't be done. That's why you have an FTC, which never allowed it before, is allowing it now. And it's why you have an antitrust division of the Department of Justice, which never allowed that to happen. And for instance, you just saw a local television merger that will give one entity 60% of the local television stations across the country, which is in violation of written FTC guidelines. And yet it got approved. This is a long-term threat. And that also includes controlling things like Warner Brothers and Paramount Studios and Universal and HBO, because if you don't think that culture affects politics, you haven't been paying attention. It most assuredly affects politics. And this is by design. They are doing this by design. And it's largely led by Ellison, but his handmaidens are Meta as well. And this is dangerous because think of it as a three-legged stool: news, culture / entertainment, and social media. Well, that's how everybody gets their information in America, and that's what sets the culture in America. And it's now all controlled by one group. This is terrifying for a democracy. It has never happened in American history. Never. Not William Randolph Hearst, Nobody had this type of control over media.
Welcome to the Nut House.
Thank you, Al, for becoming a super fan. I appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna jump off the party of depression. Goodbye.
I was just about to say I gotta go get ready for my live
Yep.
too.
Patty.
That one's so pretty.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, thank you so much for all of the support. It means more to me than you know. I'm gonna ask it again because I'm gonna expect to keep asking it until we get, past the election, or even past that, because I still interview a bunch of amazing people. Please, if you get a chance, go watch the videos that I'm posting over in the tube. I'm literally posting daily over there. Some amazing people that are running for office, like really amazing people that are running for office. If you want to get a little hope for what is going on in the world, like what is going on in this country, people that are trying to make some really big change, you'll get it from going over and watching it, because they're just, like I said, there's some amazing people over there. And we've got a bunch of primaries coming up, and if we really want the change, then we need these people to win their primaries. So I made a playlist of people whose primaries are in May. Please just watch their stuff and share it out. Even if it's not your district, it helps the algorithm. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the gifts, and the subs. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Go touch some grass, go have some fun. I'm sure there'll be crazy things going on, and we'll have plenty to talk about starting tomorrow, or starting Monday. So, yeah, you guys are amazing just the way you are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile, do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys.